Hello everyone. So in the previous video, I explained about TCL commands and each of the commands very clearly along with all the theoretical concepts. But now this is high time that we can move onto this real world scenarios of TCL commands. So here I have written set auto commit is equal to 0. 0 is nothing but I'm actually turning it off. When I say instead of 0, 1, I'm actually turning it on. But here, just remember this point. Whenever you use commit or rollback commands, you must set this particular auto commit turn off. In the sense, you have to write this auto commit equal to 0. Now, if you press Control Enter, see it has executed. In the sense, now we are ready to use this particular commit and rollback. Okay. And one more thing I would like to talk about is it is very much desirable to use this particular keyword, that is start transaction. Although it is not necessary, but I would recommend you to use this start transaction and control enter. Now the transaction has been started. In the sense, now you can perform all the changes after this step so that you can have a so that you can keep an eye on it, so that all the transactions are at one place. You can identify this thing with this particular start transactions. Otherwise, there may be a chance of merging all the uh, queries with one another. So that's why always it's a good practice to start the query, to start the transactions with these particular keywords, start transactions. Now the transaction has been started. We are good to go. Now what we can do is, first of all, let's have a look at how many tables do we have. There is only one single table, that is customers. Now I'm going to do just, I just want to fetch the data from my table, that is customers. Control enter. Now we have serial number 1 and 3 and 4. There is no serial number 2 here, and there is no data related to serial number 2. That's it. We are going to enter the serial number 2 along with its data. So if we want to enter a new data, what is the command that we have to use? As I said in our earlier videos, we have to use insert into, and here we have to type the customers, that is the table name. And now you can pass column names as well as the second approach that I have explained, that is directly passing the values instead of column names. Now what we have to do, serial number, first underscore name, last underscore name, and country. Sorry, I just I just forgot. So we are actually following the second approach. So we can directly mention the values of the columns. So serial number 2, and I'm mentioning first name is Pat, second name is Cummins, and he belongs to the country Australia. I'm just closing the bracket, and if I press control, if I press control enter, my query has executed. Now if you just load the data from customers table, now you can find serial number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So our transaction has started. Okay. Our transaction has started. Now we have entered some this thing like second row, serial number 2 we have entered. All the corresponding data to it we have entered. Okay. Now what we can do is, if you just want to go back to the previous situation, like when I say previous situation, the earlier situation was in our table, we only have three rows, that is serial number 1, serial number 3, and serial number 4. There is no serial number 2 because just now we have entered this data into a table. Now, if you want to go back to the situation, imagine instead this data is actually not correct. So we want to make some, we want to go back to the previous stage so that we can enter the correct data. So what to do now? So you can just type rollback. If you press Control Enter, query has been executed. Now you can check, select star from the customers. See here, serial number 1, 3, and 4. There is no serial number 2 because when we press this rollback, it will automatically take you to this previous condition of this table, like previous structure of this table. Earlier, the format is only we have 3 rows, that is 1, 3, 4. Now, after adding this, it has become serial number 1, serial number 2, serial number 3, serial number 4. Okay. Now this is the usage of the rollback. We can easily go back to the normal or previous stage of the table or any change. Okay. Now, okay, I just want to enter this particular row here, like second row. Why? Because if you can read this serial number 1 and there is no serial number 2 and directly jumping into serial number 3 and 4, this data is not so good to look at least. So that's why I just want to enter this particular data at serial number 2 position. So if I press Control Enter, my data has got entered. Now if I call the rows from my customers, again, see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. All the 4 rows have been updated now. Okay. Now this data is correct for me at least. So what I have to do is now I want to save this change permanently in my database. So for that, I can use this commit semicolon. Okay. Now if I press Control Enter, see here, commit has been executed. Now if I call Control Enter, see, total 4 records are there, right? Now if I press roll back, okay, it has been executed. But if you call the select star from customers, even though you have pressed a rollback, it won't go to the 3 records phase. It will only show the complete 1, 2, 3, 4 records. See here. See, it is showing serial number 1, serial number 2, serial number 3, serial number 4. Because once we have pressed this commit option, in the sense the particular change that we have done, like this change that we have done earlier, we are actually saying MySQL to save this particular change permanently in our database. So no matter once if you have pressed this commit option, no matter how many times you press this rollback option, it doesn't work because we have already asked MySQL to make this change permanently saved into our database. So there is no option of pressing rollback again. Even if you execute this, there won't be any result. Okay. So whatever rollback that you have to do, you have to do it even before you press it on commit. Okay. Even before you press on commit, you have to execute this rollback. Then only you can uh, you can revoke the change. You can go back to the previous one. Okay. You can undo the change. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay. So this is what it is. Now, okay. So I want to delete some rows. So I want to delete some. I want to delete from the table customers. Okay. And what I want to delete where serial number is equal to 2. So I just want to delete the rows for this entire serial number 2. So all the Pat, Cummins, Australia, and serial number 2 entire row will get deleted if I do so. Okay. See here, one row is affected in the sense my query has got executed. Now if I call the select star from customers, what happens? As I have already deleted second row, entire row, so I will only be getting serial number 1, 3, 4. Only 3 rows I will be getting. Okay. Okay, now I am okay with this thing. Okay, after this point, I want to do some more modifications or some more changes in future. But now, for me, at this point, I have to save this particular thing, but not permanently. But till this point, I want to save it. So what to do now? So you can use this save point. You can create any name like uh, customer deletion. I'm going to create customer deletion. Okay. I have just given a name for this particular task, that is deleting a single row from my table customers. I'm just giving it a name, that is customer underscore deletion. Okay. If I press Control Enter till this point, that is till sep till this particular result, the data will get saved, but not permanently. It will be saved temporarily. See, I'm just pressing Control Enter. So it has been executed. Select star from customers. Now see, till this point it has saved. Okay. Now if I press roll back, see here, it has again gone to the previous stage, that is serial number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So basically, what am I trying to say is, if you have done some changes, okay, but you have realized this change was wrong. So you want to go back to the previous situation. In this scenario, you can use rollback. Okay, you can use rollback. You should not use commit. You should use rollback even before you use commit. Okay, but once you have made all the data and you are pretty much confident that this particular data is 100% correct. Now you want to save this data permanently into your database. At this point, you can use this command, that is commit semicolon. In the sense, your entire changes till this point, till this particular row, all the changes that you have done, that will be saved in the database permanently. Okay. After commit, if you press rollback, there won't be any going back to the previous form. Okay. No matter how many times you press rollback after pressing commit, there won't be no execution because you have already saved the entire changes into your database for permanent. Now there is no going back. Okay. So if you press commit and then if you are actually executing rollback, then rollback won't work. In order to work, in order to rollback work for you, you should use rollback even before you use commit. Okay. And this save point is nothing but you have done some changes and you have to save it for temporary basis so that you can, till that point you have to save it. Now you can use this keyword, that is save point customer deletion. That's it. With this, we have finished TCL commands entirely, and in the next coming videos, I'll be starting like select queries, select statements, and the other constraints, keys, and all the things. Just stay tuned.